Everyone, it is Lori B at Grungygirljournals here today to show you my latest journal, Tilly. Um, there's a bit of a story behind this one that I kind of made up as I was making her. So if you'll bear with me, I'll try to tell you what the story is while I'm flipping through it. But this journal started out a little rough only because when I did the image was a completely different image. And I made a mistake and ended up having to correct it. And I posted on Facebook if you want to read about it. But it all ended up great because the image that is on it right now, who is Tilly, is just perfect for this journal. I used some quilted fabric, which is also here on my desk, and just did some black stitching along the harlequin and did some French knots in the middle of all those. And the skirt is a collar, and I don't know if it's vintage or it might even be antique. But I was able to cut that in half and use half of it. I also used this beautiful silk ribbon. Kind of blurry, don't I? I don't have a mouse. I broke my mouse on my laptop, so I'm not able to adjust the focus where I am right now. I used a hook and eye right there, and then I used a snap right here. And this is all hand stitched. Used some Swiss dot on the inside, and what that does is, number one, I just like it. I like that look, and number two, it helps the collar not rest against the buttons, and so that you can't see the outline of the buttons. This is Tilly. Have some black vintage buttons. They're all different from each other, still the same size, but all different. These are all mother of pearl, and then I have my one single little black sheep right here. And with it, I use some vintage trim here. This is a lady's hanky, fringe, and some of my favorite lace. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And this is I used a transfer method that I found on YouTube years ago, and one of these days I'm going to do a uh, a video about it, but it's really just a very basic way to do it, and you can probably look it up on YouTube. The only difference probably, I use a laser printer, so I'm not sure how an inkjet would do, but one of these days I may try to do a video on that. So we open her up. This is a pocket. And I just folded that up and then folded it back so that I wouldn't lose the scallop right here. I got this heart from Lavish Laces. Created with love, and a blank pad right there. Everything is hand stitched. Use some more of the Swiss dot. And the story begins. This is a house. I guess it's actually a mansion, and I'll show you that it's a huge house. It starts here and it goes all the way around to there. And an older gentleman named George and his wife, son, Edwin, live in this house. He was a single father and had lost his wife when Edwin was pretty young. And so they lived in this house together, and they had a butler. And the butler was uh, had been there for years and really took care of the household, and he had a daughter. That's very important. He had a daughter. So as Edwin grew up, he went off to boarding school pretty young, um, and the butler had a. I told you I don't have this written down, so please bear with me. So the butler, his name was James. James had a daughter, a young daughter as well, and she lived on the premises with him in the servants' quarters, and her name was Tilly. That's Tilly. And she also left at a very young age to go to boarding school, and the the father of the manor, he ended up paying for her tuition to get educated. He was very fond of the butler, James, and he wanted to do that for him. So the two kids, Edwin and Tilly, went off at a very young age to boarding school, and they pretty much did not see each other when they were young. They crossed paths. Actually, Edwin would see Tilly at the train station, and as he got older, and as she got older, but he had no idea who she was, and he would just he just fell in love with her from afar, and but he had no idea who she was, and they would get on their separate trains, and they never spoke or anything like that. So, kind of jump a little bit to when Edwin gets a little older. Edwin is very kind. He is philanthropy. He does philanthropy. You know what I'm saying. And he travels the world and he helps people. And is very kind. But his father, George, really forced him to marry somebody that he didn't love. And it was a marriage of convenience. The father, George, wanted a heir. And so Edwin did it for his father, and he married a woman who tragically died right after giving birth to um, their son. So she did have an heir for him. I don't know how she died because I really just didn't want to go there. She might have been sick or she may have stepped in front of a carriage. I don't know. But it was not really a happy marriage. And Edwin was pretty, I mean, he wasn't happy, but he was okay with just, you know, having a daughter and not being married or something like that. So, um, Tilly, meanwhile, is still at school, and the George one day was speaking to his butler, James, about needing somebody in the house to help care for the baby, and that he really, he really wanted to help Edwin out and find someone for him to take care of the baby, like a au pair, a nanny. And George said, "Well, my daughter went to school and she's now a teacher au pair, and she also teaches music, and she just graduated. And maybe while you're looking for someone, you can meet her, and then possibly she can help you till you find someone." So that's when Tilly arrives. And it just so happened that Edwin was at home, and Tilly walked in the room, and he couldn't believe it. It was the woman from the train station that he had seen several times, and did not know that that was the butler's daughter. So they got along. He was just in love. He was just so in love. And Tilly, she's not a real frilly girl. She's very soft spoken, wicked sense of humor, but very kind of prim and proper and not overly girly, as you can kind of see from this book. It's not overly overly feminine, but it is feminine. And she moves in and she helps with the baby. And fast forward, um, uh, the older father dies, and Edwin and Tilly and the baby are in the house with George because he's still the butler, although he's going to retire soon because he's really tired. And what else? He's madly in love with her. He one day professes his love, and they get married and they have a baby too. And he doesn't care that she was not born, you know, in in his class, I guess you could say. And he didn't care about things like that, and she didn't care about things like that. She loved him too, and they got married, and they had a baby, and they lived happily ever after in this mansion. The end. Sorry about that. But I had to tell you because I just did. So this is the house, and then this is like the plans. This is the specs to the house. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty, I grunged it up pretty good. But that's just a digital book page. This is from Ruby and Pearl XO. And she loves fashion too. That's just a like a paper collage. I'm gonna try to go fast. And these are just some school papers, and some music. She would write down how many minutes. Oh, she would teach the other servants' children music lessons and how to read. That's what she did. She would do that at night. So those are some of their papers. You just use different types of papers. There's college. This is just an empty bag. Love this lace. More book pages. And this was when Tilly got older. This is Tilly right here. And she is, they went out and picked flowers. These are just all ladies from the countryside. This is railroad stationery. It's kind of like, I don't think it's onion spin. It's very cool paper. An old receipt from 1906. Dining in sweet chairs and sweet rockers. This is Edwin. And that's kind of why I wanted to tell you the story before I started, because the pictures throughout kind of are in the story. So this is Edwin. This is the son. It's another receipt. 1915. These are all original. Yeah, I think all the ephemera is original except for the pictures. Those I printed out. And she loves leopard skin pattern, and she loves animals. Here is a lace cluster. Here she is looking at flowers. She loves flowers. And I love this envelope. I got this at the flea market, and these are hard to come by for me. There's a letter in there. I'll let you read. There's rhinestones in the middle of these. I believe this is Pink Monarch prints on Etsy for digital. This is a separate seller. I will put all the sellers in the description box below. This was a different digital seller on Etsy. And these are evidently somebody in the house needed some chill pills. So there you go. Small ephemera. Long receipt with some flowers that she pressed in a book. Thank you, Sherry. I love them. I haven't figured out who this is yet. This is Tilly. I haven't figured out who this is. It may be your best friend. I haven't looked into that yet. And I found this at the flea market as well. Doesn't really have anything to do with the story, but kind of has overtones of the story. And of course, that's the famous song from the movie. It's a book page from a very old magazine. The Family magazine. And here's Tilly. Tilly, this is at the back of the house, and this is the kitchen. And this is where she would hang out most days with her dog when she was young. And then she went off to school. It's from 1928 for thread and 3 pair of hose and some socks. Another cluster with some stenciling on Amazon packing paper. Another receipt. I like this one because it says lace curtains on it. That's from 1908. And it's for $59.32 for all that. And here I have a vintage, I got a bunch of vintage glass pieces when I was making jewelry, and this was just in my stash. It's like an amber heart. And this was at the front of an old book I have where I believe it was a school book, and it was for French, and they were practicing writing. What was that? Edwin Tilly. I guess that's her maid. Sure. And this is the baby that Tilly came to take care of, um, Edwin's daughter. And this says you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. I think it's Maya Angelou. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure that's who that was, although maybe 80% sure. This digital without the flower, I glued that on. This digital is from CherylFrancisArt, as well as this as Tilly. So I'm certificate of promotion for school, 2nd grade, 1903. And here's Tilly looking at books. This is Tilly's father, James. This envelope was pretty beat up. It's just like a calling card. And then this is a postcard of the Queen's bedroom. Oops, the Queen's bedroom. And I put this in there that they met, they didn't know they met, but they saw each other at the train station. So that's just a little nod to the trains. It's from a French book, I believe, like a dictionary. And then this is Tilly, and she looks like she has an old camera in her lap. And this is Edwin and Tilly's daughter here with their dog, with the baby's dog. Book page, I think it's German. Another receipt. For brass beds. And this is Tilly. It's her formal portrait that is above the fireplace. Another little book page. $15.96. Got a cute illustration on there. An invitation. And then this is from a ladies magazine, and it's where you would write into the paper and if you had a question about how to if you had a problem and you wanted to ask, kind of like Dear Abby. This is about a lady to her friend in the city inviting her to spend a month in the country. 1883. Okay, put this back later. Beautiful. What do you call these? You know what these are called? What are these called? You know, the old ledger, old ledger, and it's written in pencil. And it is from 18, I think that's 96 or 94. And then I still have to add my signature card. And that's the end. I hope that made sense to you all, and sorry if it took so long to tell you that story. You can always double time the video if you don't want to hear me ramble on about it. But I had a good time coming up with it, and I probably forgot most of the story, but you got the bare bones of it. And that's Tilly and Edwin's story. And this has been taken, and I'm working on a new journal that I'm really, really thrilled about. I haven't started on it yet. I just pulled a bunch of laces and um, cut some fabric last night, and really excited to get started on it. I was really inspired by a digital, and that's usually where I get my inspiration is digitals, and lace and fabric. and, and buttons, all that good stuff. So thank you for sitting through this for me. Please leave a like if you would, and leave me a comment if you would like to. I would love it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye.